Hey friends, so today I am going to make a melted snowman. I am using a circular knitting machine, the Addi Express king size. So this is a variation on one of my favorite methods for making toys, which is making a tube and putting a drawstring in wherever I need one to create the head, to create the body, whatever we're doing. So for this one, I'll show you when I get there. But first I'm going to cast on all the way around just with a standard back and forth cast on. I'll meet you right back here in just a second. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and reset my counter to 0. I am going to knit 25 rounds. Then I'm going to put a drawstring, and I'll show you how to do that. 25 rounds. I'm on the 25th round. I'm going to put a drawstring in. Make sure that your yarn is about 1.5 times around your knitting machine. The yarn I'm knitting with is still in the keeper here. I am going to just drop my other yarn in, and it's going to run at the same time. 2 pieces of yarn going around at the same time. See, I'm going to hold both of them in my hand right here. And now I'm just going to knit the whole way around. All right, I'm back to my first stitch here. I'm going to open up the keeper, take this yarn, and I'm going to drop it to the inside. But before I do that, I am going to loosely tie this together just with a granny knot and let that hang out right there. I'm just going to knit 2 or 3 rows, and then I'm going to tuck those tails through to the outside so we'll be able to grab a hold of them when we're making the snowman. So 27 is going to get me to 53. I'll be at 53 rounds total. Alrighty, I'm all the way around. I've got a couple rows past now. I am going to just tuck and pull those pieces of yarn through to the outside. I know it's really weird, but this side under here is the outside of your knitting. Now I'm going to go to 53 rounds. We're going to put another drawstring in. Do the same thing, open the keeper, drop the piece of yarn in, close the keeper, hold on to both pieces of yarn with the one hand, there we go. Make sure that your working yarn stays on the machine. Take these 2 ends, loosely granny knot them together. And now we're going to do 45 rounds. And then we're going to do a long tail pickup to take it off of the machine. I'll show you the long tail pickup when I get there. But zipping along to the 45 rounds. So we need a long tail. My favorite tool of all time is the the bent tip darning needle for taking the knitting off of the machine. So first up, I thread my needle first, so I've got it all ready to go. Now I'm going to crank around here, and you can do this two ways. You can either crank all the way around, or you can go with just cranking a couple stitches at a time until you're comfortable with cranking farther around. So see, I only cranked ahead 4 stitches right there. But you don't have any worries of anything falling off your needles. So it's all up to you. And after you get a certain number of them off, it's all depends on the stretchiness of your yarn, how tight you're knitting. You can start picking up several stitches at one time. I'm going to crank ahead several. And now you see what I'm doing here is I'm going in between those little teeth, right there with that bent tip. Between those little teeth, there's 2 little bumps. Go between those and pick up the loop. If you do that, you're going to be picking up just the loop that you want and not going through the stitch below it. What I mean by that is this loop that's down here, don't go through this loop here behind it. Don't try and pick up both of those. If you do, you're going to end up starting to get your knitting is going to start getting pulled up and bunched funny. You don't want that. So I use the back of this needle to press down between those teeth and then pick up the loop that's behind, farthest outside. I hope that helps. This time of year, when you're coming into winter and gift giving season, having things that are quick and easy and fun, decorative, for selling at bazaars or just to decorate your own home, give to the kids in your life. This type of a pattern is so fun. And now I know I am not the first person to come up with using a circular knitting. So the bottom edge, the edge that we just took off, and I just pulled down nice and tight. Now you need to make sure that your stitches are all tidy. Just like this. Tidy up those stitches. Get your needle threaded and tie off. This is the very bottom of your snowman. What I'm going to do here now is I'm taking my needle to the inside. You are not stuffing the bottom of this snowman. The bottom of this snowman is stuffingless. He is a melted snowman. I am going to go ahead and just leave that yarn long for the moment. So I've saved a bunch of these plastic lids. And I'm just going to put that right down in the bottom. And actually, I think what I'm going to do first, I'm going to poke a hole so that my yarn will go up through the middle of the plastic and keep it centered. So like this. And that yarn that we pulled through to the inside. And I'm just going to poke it through. I could have still kept my bent needle on here, but I didn't. Oh well. And then we're going to let that go down go down in like this. And that's just going to center up on that lid. And I'm leaving that just hanging out. Now, next step is I am going to make sure that all of my drawstrings are stuck to the outside. I didn't get the second drawstring to the outside. So here, I'm just pulling them through from the inside to the outside. Alrighty, so now we've got the inner ball of the snowman's head that will get tucked down inside like that. And then we have the drawstring for his neck, and then his body is going to go smoosh down. I'm figuring this out as I'm going along with you right now. So first off, we are going to pull this down nice and tight. You can put safety eyes on. If you do, you're going to want to slip an extra piece of felt on the inside that you're before you put all your stuffing. Little things to think about. I've got a pack of safety eyes here. I think I'm going to go with this size, whatever size that is. This is a 6mm eye. So I'm using 6mm eyes. But first, we're going to tie off. So we have this is the yarn that's going through the center of everything. Right here. It's going to be your magic piece that's going to pull everything down nice and tight. This end closed nice and snug off. I can shorten that one because I don't need it. First up, we're going to tuck that down inside like that. We're going to grab a ball of stuffing. This is just polyfill. I'm not stuffing it hard. This is a soft decorative toy or soft decorative item. And I'm going to partially drawstring this down. So I need to find both of my drawstrings. Probably should have moved my knitting machine too. So I've got a hold of both of my drawstrings and I'm pulling them down. And I'm going to grab the other drawstring that's for the neck and pull it tight. So the neck is getting pulled down like that. And the head, I'm going to slip the eyes on. So felt. I like to I should have a piece of white felt, but this is what I have handy. So I'm going to grab a piece of felt. And I'm going to poke a hole just tiny, just starting it. Just enough that I'll be able to poke that through it. Poke the end of the eye. Woo! That's not enough of a hole yet. Tiny little, tiny little. Tiny little hole. All right, I'm going to take this to the inside, and run this down inside the edge of the drawstring. Pushing it down some, because I don't want the eyes all the way up here at the top of the head. So I'm going to push this through and then find my little spot on the felt and grab those little keepers. Hold on. 1, 2. 1 and 2. So you go to the inside, take a keeper, put it on, and squeeze, 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 squeeze. All right, that's good. And then I'm going to go to the other eye. And snowmen that are melting, their eyes might be drifting a little bit, and that's perfectly fine. So this is one of those times when it's okay if it's not perfect. Don't worry about lining it up perfectly. And push that through. Push, push, push. And now we're going to drawstring this top down. Okay, so I'm going to pull that down just a little bit. There we go. Right now, this is really driving me nuts having this thing right. So I'm going to tie that in a granny knot. And we're going to tighten this down more, but that just gets us part way. And that, I can run these ends around to tighten this neck up here. And I'm going to run the string around to tighten up the top of that head. Right now it looks like a little ghosty, doesn't it? I'm just going to run this through those gathers all the way around. And all the way around. And we're going to keep going. You know, there's 46 stitches you're going around there. And back out here. And now we're going to pull. Look at that. Because we went around again, we can now pull that down tighter. And I'm going to go ahead and tie it off again to the end of that drawstring. Now I made a hat. So when he's a melted snowman, and he's all melted and flat on the ground, and his head fell backwards. Aw, look at that little guy. He looks so worried. Poor little thing. Now I can stitch some buttons on here. I could glue an acorn on for his nose. Ooh, I kind of like that. I like the idea of gluing an acorn on for the nose. Since I've already used safety eyes, I could get some of my tacky glue and I could glue an acorn on for his nose. I like that. Or I could I've got these plastic gems. Look at that. These little plastic gems. He's going to have a little orange gem for his nose. Oh. They are going to have a pretty little scarf from a strip of fabric. And it's just going to be like that. So let's see. If you wanted to, you could iron this. So all of your edges are all pulled in together. I'm just going to fold it so it's around his little neck. Cut it off. 1 and 2. And this little hat. This hat was just 50 rounds, 25 and 25. Having that little disc in the bottom here, because I could do little things, you know. You can get a little twist. Ooh, that's kind of fun. Doing the twist. I'm going to go ahead and put a blob of glue right. Did I forget to take the label out? I did. There we go. Here, we'll do it this way. Blob of glue onto that plastic. And then right onto his face. What a sweetie. And now I could put little rosy cheeks on just because I want to. So let's see if this Caran d'Ache Neo Color 1 crayon will. Ooh. Now the Neo Color 1 is not water soluble. So basically, I'm just coloring on this yarn with a crayon. And there you go. We have the sweetest little melted snowman. What do you think? I love it. I think it's absolutely adorable. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to click that like button. And if you could do me a favor and share this video with 3 of your friends, I would absolutely love it. I'm trying to get this channel up to 5,000 subscribers and we're getting close. So let's see if we can get there before Christmas. Remember to go out, do something creative, take care of yourself, and be kind. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.